afternoon, icons, and welcome back to Stayin Iconic, your podcast with your host, iconically.miguel. Today's icon we have
Diamond, the proud owner of Nolani Co.
I know that's right, Nolani Co. That's really cute. Like
Thank
it rolls off the tongue
you.
so easily
Doesn't
too.
it? Doesn't it?
And you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big jewelry fan. I really, really am. So when I met you personally, I was like, girl, you got it going
Okay.
on. That's definitely something that you would want to invest in because it's like, where do you get your jewelry from? I actually sell it, which
yeah.
is great. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of like girls, they tend to ask, and I
Yeah.
love that so much because I definitely ask. You know,
Right.
well, I definitely have you here for a specific reason, and it's to get a sense of your iconicness. You know,
Right.
what you do with yourself that stands out to so many people that have that question in their head: how can I be like her? You know, how can I make my impact like her? You know, how can I touch the mass and things
Right.
of that nature? So I want to ask you deep questions if you're okay with that.
Yes,
you know,
of course.
shed a little tear maybe,
Yes.
which is okay because this is the platform for that.
Right.
We just really want to get to know the mind behind the business, of course. So I'll be asking you some questions. My first question is, hi, welcome.
Thank you.
How are
Thank
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I really, really am.
That's good.
I'm really excited to get to know you more about you, get under that surface, you know. So I guess to lead right into it, my first question would be, what's your mindset with the whole Nolani? Is that how you say it correctly?
Yeah, Nolani.
Nolani brand, and what does that mean to you?
Nolani is my baby, honestly. Like, over time, I've developed so much love for my brand because, you know, it's so much sweat and tears and time and, you know, having to be consistent and worry, you know, just making sure that I can do the best for my business and all of that. But, oh, damn. I low-key forgot the question. Oh, okay, so.
You're good. You're good.
That's technically.
Stop. So, Diamond, who is the proud owner of I'm sorry, how do you say it again?
Nolani Co.
Nolani Co. Clock it, queen. I get it right every time, okay? What was your life before your brand?
So I started my brand my freshman year, and life before that was really me getting ready to go to college, transitioning from San Antonio to Houston, kind of figuring out what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be, and you know, it was kind of like a fresh new start for me. You know, a new city, new school, new people, and it was a little bit of a mess. You know, trying to figure out who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, and really just preparing myself for like what was next to come. I had a clothing business prior to it, and I kind of shut that down because it was just hard logistics wise, having to carry such things, and I was getting robbed, people stealing, stuff like that. So it was me trying to figure out what my next steps were because I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I come from a line of entrepreneurs, so it was kind of embedded in me. I know I have the passion for it, and I knew Houston was the place for me to, you know, expand on any business venture I wanted to do. So it was really me trying to figure out what my next steps were and figuring out what was next for me as an entrepreneur and me as Diamond.
Oh my God, you know, Diamond, I'm not gonna lie, I just love your energy. I
Thank
feel like you
you.
come off so humble. You know, I
Thank
feel
you.
like you make this seem as if it's so easy, and it should be. You know, whenever
Right.
you come up with something so impactful as what you've done with Nolani, I actually kind of want to ask you. I know you came from a background of entrepreneurs and you started a clothing brand, of course, and it didn't work out, which is fine because you came out with doing something greater. What was that transition? What idea clicked in your head? What made you say, "Oh my God, this is my next thing"?
Right. So while I was doing clothing, I was also selling a little bit of jewelry on the side, and I was getting a lot of positive feedback from it. I was starting to do custom orders, and you know, people love personalized things. They love to see their name on things. So that kind of really took off for me, and I noticed like, hey, I'm having issues here with the clothing, and it's too heavy for me to handle, and all those things. So why not dip into jewelry? I feel like it's a space where it's not a lot of Black-owned businesses in jewelry, especially in San Antonio. So I really wanted to be a trailblazer for something, you know, be one of one, and kind of set a pathway for others. And I thought jewelry would definitely be the space to do that.
And I love that too because even for myself, if I see my name on it, I'm like,
Okay.
I'm aligned, I'm
Right.
aligned. Like that's for me or something of that sort. But I definitely want to know because you said having family as entrepreneurs and having that around in your system. They say stay around friends that kind of have the same mentality as you or have something better than you so that you can grow to be that standard as
Right.
well. It's that like the uplifting motive. Being surrounded by entrepreneurs, how was that? Did you ever seem like your light was dimmer or was it a thing where it's like, how am I going to be like them? Like, what was that
Right.
for you?
Definitely how I was going to be like them. I would say that, my mom, my sister, my dad, them having businesses only made me want to be an entrepreneur even more. Seeing my dad interact with his community, just like doing transactions, putting furniture into people's cars. Like it's really the small things that kind of inspired me. Like, oh my goodness, not only of course, not only is my dad making money from this and, business minded, but he's also connecting with people. He's also connecting with his community. And I love to talk. And
Mm-hmm.
being up there, my dad has like a little spot um, on East Houston in San Antonio on the east side. So it's really intimate. Um, and when people come, it's always greeting. Hey, how are you? They come look at the furniture, come talk to my dad because a lot of his customers are people that he knew in the community when he like
Oh.
school wise and all that type of stuff. So
Uh-huh.
seeing that, it definitely was inspiring, and it made me want to have a business where, I mean, not only am I like connecting with my audience, but I'm kind of giving them something special, something that they can keep with them, and yeah, kind of living there.
I feel like that connecting point with your jewelry and your community is so passionate to you because that's what your dad did in his own way.
Right.
He was doing these services, these acts of love in a way, and profiting off of them, which is fine.
Right.
I think it's always a good thing to benefit from something that you're doing that you love.
Right.
And that's technically what you're doing. You see beauty in people's necks and ears and their personality.
Yes.
And that beauty is returned to you in
Okay.
which is okay, which is fine, which is great.
Yes.
But it's still something that you can say, wow, I deserve this
Right.
because the results of it is greater than it. So I love that you have that mindset. And I love that you have your father to kind of say, I got this from you, Dad. I think our families have so much influence on us
They really do.
that they might not even understand. And sometimes we could just be so grateful. And I'm grateful that it was so good for you.
Yes.
It leads me to my next question. I loved one thing that you said off camera, of course. You said that the more I learn about my business, the more I grow. Or I think you were saying that the more I learn, the more I learn, my business grows.
Right.
So what are some things that you're learning now? I know you're rebranding, you're changing it up, you're switching it up. I think that's so great when you have the
Yes.
ability to do it because you're the owner.
Right.
How does that look like for you?
So really it starts with taking care of yourself and putting myself out there. And I'm learning a lot from the mentors that I have around me, the people that I have around me, just studying everything and making sure that I'm taking that in and putting it into my business. If I see it works for something else, I'm going to want to do that. But honestly, being consistent with school, being consistent with taking care of myself, being consistent with Diamond has definitely had a positive impact on Milani Co. When I'm consistent with myself, I'm consistent with my business, I'm consistently doing markets, doing events, consistent with social media because that's very important. And I'm really taking a lot of what I'm learning from my class, my marketing classes, and implementing it into my business. And I think it's just really vital to take all the opportunities that you can around you. And that's what I'm learning right now, honestly. Because I feel like my freshman and my sophomore year, I was definitely distracted. I had a lot of things like to do and trying to figure out, I'm in Houston, what am I going to do next? And I didn't really have the time to take in like the fact that there's so many opportunities around us, and even if there isn't opportunities, I'm going to make them for myself. Like I feel like there aren't enough Black entrepreneurs being highlighted on campus, so I joined UH Red Labs, which is a club under like Wolf for entrepreneurship, and we had a holiday market, and I made sure that I reached out to Black-owned businesses so they can have that space to sell their products to the many students who are definitely interested in trying to find Black-owned businesses on campus. And yeah, things like that. Just, making a way for myself, when I don't feel like others are making a way for me, I'm gonna do it myself. So definitely taking opportunities, learning and getting what I can get from it, and implementing it into my business.
I love that because it's like you take. You know how they say it, and they say it in a bad reference too. They're like, "I'll give you an inch and you take a mile," and I think it's crazy, but in this case scenario, it's amazing. You said you make a way for yourself, and even if it's a little thing, and even if it might not work for you, you take it and you make a mile out of it, and you bring those opportunities to yourself. And I love that one thing out of everything is that you're bringing Black representation.
Absolutely.
We don't have that privilege sometimes, and you do it anytime that you get the chance to do it. So I gotta give you a hand clap for that, girl, because it's like, if I make it to the top, I'm gonna have a few of us behind me.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I love that, and it leads me to our last coming of questions. What is something that some people can misunderstand about being an entrepreneur? What is it? Because people will look at it and be like, I just don't have the wit, I don't have the consistency, I don't have the resources, I don't. They have these excuses. What is something that could clear those excuses for them, to give them that ability to be like, well, maybe I could.
Right. So I'm not gonna lie, being an entrepreneur isn't easy. It is a lot of dedication, but I mean, there's nothing to it, literally, just to do it. So put yourself out there, figure out what you want to do, go brainstorm. So there's a lot of creative spaces in Houston where you can, brainstorm, connect, figure out your idea, do some planning, take some time to plan and prep and figure out what you want to do, and go with it. I would start with your friends and your family, get the support there, and then, branch out and to see what you can do. But a lot of the times, like, that self-doubt is kind of put onto us by other people. So don't let anybody tell you that you can't be an entrepreneur. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do this. And don't let anybody discredit you for being an entrepreneur, because sometimes other people think, it's just simple as you posting, or it's just simple as this. But, I'm doing social media. I'm doing in-person interactions. I'm the cash register. Like, I'm doing all these things, and, it's a lot to it. But if you have the love for it, it'll definitely show. So I would say just go for it. Do what you want to do. Start the business. And if anybody ever needs, like, any help, you know where to contact me. You know where to find me.
Hey,
So,
I love that. I love that you're
definitely a
not
resource.
only an entrepreneur, but you're a resource.
Right.
And I'm so grateful that you're putting yourself out there like that. Thank you so much for coming out today. I really enjoyed your energy.
Thank
I love who you
you.
are, and I hope to see more of you, baby. Continue being yourself, okay?
Okay.
Period. I
Thank
love
you.
you. All right, and then you're gonna pause it, baby. Okay, Diamond, so we're coming down to our last question, and my question to you and for the viewers is, how is it to be iconic through your lenses?
Honestly, to stay your truly authentic self. Be who you are. Keep continuing what you want to do. Learn who you are, because I think college is definitely the time to do that. Don't let nobody else define you, because there's a lot of that happening as well. Just being you. Continue to do what you want to do, what you got to do, and stay ambitious, okay? Please.
I love that.
Stay
I love
ambitious,
that.
yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you for tuning in, and we shall see you for the next episode. Until then, keep staying iconic.